now, let us go into the opening of the board meeting. And if you have a cell phone, would you mind putting it on mute or quiet? And notice to the public, we broadcast the meetings on our website at www.vwd.org/meetings. And if you want to listen on the meetings, the telephone number you can dial in is 888-788-0099, or a toll-free number is 877-853-5247. Very good. And with that, a pledge of allegiance. And Director Cossette, would you like to lead us?
Sure, love to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please. And let the meeting know that all members are present. Is there any additions to the agenda? Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Vote. And the vote was unanimous. Moving on, are there any public comments?
No, sir.
No public comments. Presentations. Very good. Administration of the oath.
All right. If I can ask Director Grosset to join us down in the well here. If you raise your hand and repeat after me, please. I, Eric Grosset,
I, Eric Grosset,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
All right, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I see your families here, so
Is this the photo opportunity, Chris?
yeah, I think so.
Yes. Bring your family on
Yeah,
down.
bring the whole family down. I love your guys' artwork. That was so cool. Yeah,
Oh, heavens, no.
They worked hard.
yeah.
Okay, so maybe a little, I don't know that I need to see the nameplate, but maybe the logo on the back.
Okay.
So, Director Grosset to your left here.
Okay, well,
Well, that was, yeah. You want your wife in the photo, right?
She was literally the woman behind them.
Yeah, I always gotta get on the cell. Just my thing. Your daughter. Awesome.
And Chris, if we can get a picture of Director Grosset at the dais and maybe have the daughters and his wife in front.
Yeah.
Hey, girls, you want to come back down?
How about on either side of your dad's name?
Yeah, you guys stand down here on either side of that cool nameplate. that you- Okay,
So you colored that one, or did you color the other one?
no, I did it all by myself.
but she must have helped.
She
the supervisor.
Okay, and you can both point at it.
Yeah. So Chris is going to take a picture with you guys in the foreground and your dad behind you. Big smile.
Big smile. Got it. Stay there. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Got it.
Thank you.
Perfect.
And girls, thank you for making that name placard. It was really cool.
Let's see, the board's going to recognize somebody. Who could that be?
Who could that be?
Former Director Mike Sinella.
And President Hernandez, I'm going to ask you to come down maybe with Director Sinella, former Director Sinella, sorry, and you could present him with the plaque and the proclamation.
Special day, look at this guy.
That picture's 8 years old.
Well, I guess you.
I'm a little different now.
Well, I want to thank you for your service. There's a proclamation that I'll look at and read, but we wanted to give this to you for all the years of dedication. Great work, Mike. I'm glad to see that you've moved, I don't want to say to higher ground, but different ground.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And here you are that. And now let me read the proclamation. Vallecitos Water District hereby recognizes Mike Sinella Day in the Vallecitos Water District Service Area. Whereas Mike Sinella was initially elected to the Vallecitos Water District in 2014, whereas Mike Sinella has made financial responsibility a priority of serving on the water board. Mike Sinella has worked tirelessly on behalf of the water board. Mike Sinella was a strong advocate for community outreach and transparency in government, whereas Mike Sinella supported the inclusion of desalinated water for the Claude Bud Lewis desalination plant in Carlsbad, California, whereas Mike Sinella supported the partnership in the Olivenheim Municipal Water District to purchase 2,750 feet of treated water annually for the David C. McCollum Water Treatment Plant. And whereas Mike Sinella was recently elected, certified, and sworn into the City of San Marcos, thereby relinquishing his seat on the Vallecitos Water District. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Vallecitos Water District Board of Directors, for and on behalf of the people of the Water District area, that he hereby proclaim January 18th, 2023 to be Mike Sinella Day in Vallecitos District area. Wow. Thank you. All right, you have your own day.
Want a poster?
No, with the
The logo?
logo's good.
Okay.
So, yeah. And Mike, you like him, right? School.
People.
That power down?
For safety's sake.
Right? Congratulations, Councilman Sinella.
Thank you.
Glenn, did you want to let us say a few words?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Mike, if you want to say anything.
Okay. Everybody can speak.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just, did you want to say something?
No,
Oh, me? Oh,
you
okay.
want to say
Yeah.
I thought you said Glenn.
I'm sorry, I meant.
Well, thank you. This is, I don't know if everybody had a chance to see it, but it's beautiful, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to put it in my new office. You know, I joked when Jim gave me this photo, and it was really 8 years ago, and those 8 years just flew by. I mean, like, they were like that. But in the time since I've been elected to the city council and now, I've been doing kind of a lot of just like thinking back and seeing some Facebook memories and other things on social media. And this board accomplished so much over the last 4 to 8 years. Everything from the desalination that we talked about, that Jim talked about, and water recycling and solar and doing things that protect the environment and the ratepayers at the same time. It's just, you all have a lot to be proud of. I either have served with or I know personally all of you. And as both a resident, a customer, and now a council member, I know that with this board, we're in really good shape. And with this staff, we couldn't be better. So thank you to our staff. Thank you for all that you've done and what you're going to do. And I'm excited to see what the future brings. So thank you.
Thank you. Item next, General Manager will recognize new hires.
Thank you, President Hernandez. So what we decided to do a while ago is to take a pause for a moment every quarter and recognize some of the accomplishments of our employees. It's easy for their accomplishments to get lost in the shuffle because we always seem so busy. So today, we're going to recognize the last quarter, the period of October 1 through December 31st, right? So things may have changed since that time, but we'll recognize those newer ones 3 months from now. So for new hires, I want to recognize 3 people, and I don't know that any of them are here. Well, one of them's here. So first is Dallas Dahl. Dallas is a wastewater treatment plant operator 1. So Dallas is not here, right? Okay. Jody Coco, she's a finance supervisor. Jody came to us from Escondido. She's not here either. And we rehired Eileen Kuntz for development services help. And Eileen, so Eileen is back there, and she's been an immense help. She left us 2 years ago, and we're swamped, and we really needed some assistance, and who better to get than somebody that you didn't want to leave in the first place. So welcome back, and thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
So those were the 3 new hires in that quarter, and we also have a promotion to announce. So Allison Fretwell, Allison, raise your hand. So Allison was promoted to Capital Facilities Assistant Engineer, so congratulations. So some accomplishments, our Assistant General Manager, James Gumpel, completed his year-long Aqua JPIA Leadership Academy, so congratulations, James. And I think that shows James's commitment to the organization, and he'll be around longer than I am, and he'll help keep this organization running in the right direction. Trevor Partain, Trevor's not here today either, but Trevor, he earned his Water Distribution 2 certificate from the State Water Resources Control Board, and that's another demonstration of commitment to his profession, so congratulations, Trevor. And the last one is Buddy Howe, and Buddy earned his Water Distribution 3 and Water Treatment 2 certificate from the State Water Resources Control Board. So congratulations. Let's give them a round of applause. And maybe just recognize a couple of group and organizational awards, and this is kind of thanks to Chris and his team. So we, Public Information received 2 Excellence in Journalism Awards from the San Diego Press Club. We received a first place for the television/online video, community service, public affairs for our Imagine a Day Without Water series, so congratulations on that. And we also received second place from the San Diego Press Club for our television online video editing series for our Water Smart Landscape Contest winner. So round of applause for Chris and his team. Perfect. So that's it for today, but in the future, this will be a recurring thing every quarter. So new hires, promotions, accomplishments, maybe retirees, those types of things. Because I know the board doesn't get a chance to see our employees often enough, but I want to make sure you're aware of who's here, who left, and what great things are happening. So thanks for indulging me, President Hernandez.
Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate your good work. Moving on, the consent calendar is a routine and non-controversial, and it's going to be made under one motion unless there is a member of the board or of the public that would like to pull an item. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
President Hernandez, I believe Director Cosette needs to show himself as an abstention on item 1.1, which is the minutes from last meeting.
Very good. We'll show that. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve consent calendar.
Motion by Director Pennick,
Second.
second by Director Ellithorpe. Please vote.
Point of order, Mr. President.
I'm sorry?
Point of order.
Yes.
Can you just talk a little bit about why he would need to abstain? Is it because he was not sworn in until after?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're looking for a reason why?
Yes, I was explained.
Oh, you got it? You're okay now?
I'm okay.
Very good. There's been a motion and a second, and voted, and it has been approved unanimously. Very good. Moving on to action items. Item 2.1, committee assignments and representatives. I don't know if you got these. I got mine late, but I got it here in front of me. I don't know if everyone has had a chance to review them. I've talked to you all regarding these positions, and I would entertain a motion to approve the appointments as presented. I'll make a motion myself. Move to approve.
Second.
And motion and a second. Please vote.
Point of order, Mr. President.
Yes.
I would like to make a comment on the proposed appointments. In our last meeting, we appointed a new member of the board for the sake of diversity and less politics on the board. And I look at this list and I see that there was the opportunity to appoint members to 7 positions, not including our standing committees. And I'm grateful to be the chair of the P3 committee, and I'm looking forward to working with Director Grosset on that committee. We've done a lot of great things in the P3 committee. For example, we have brought to bear the scholarship that we give out to young people in the area. We have brought forward as well an internship program that we do in partnership with Palomar College. We have implemented an educational program that now will continue in going forward in a local school. We've done some great things in the P3 committee, and I'm grateful for that appointment. But I look at the board-appointed representatives, and there are 7 opportunities to appoint delegates and alternates, and I did not receive any single delegate position. And I find that very disappointing, especially in light of the reasons why we appointed Director Grosset. It is noticeable, it is disappointing, and it's certainly not for lack of my effort, given what we have done on the P3 committee. I'll be voting no on this proposal.
Any other comments? We have a motion and a second. Please vote. And the vote is unanimous. Oh, excuse me. We have 4 yeses and 1 no with Dr. Tiffany Boyd Hodson. And so the motion does pass. Action item number 2.2, approval of the joint use facility and water supply agreement between Vallecitos Water District and Vista Irrigation District for San Marcos Highlands.
And Jason Hubbard's going to take that item.
All right, good evening, President Hernandez and fellow board members. So yes, tonight for you to consider is approval of a joint use facility and water supply agreement between the Vallecitos Water District and the Vista Irrigation District, and this is for the San Marcos Highlands Pressure Reducing Station. So this station is in support of the San Marcos Highland development. The station was built and paid for by the developer for that community. The pressure reducing station is necessary to provide fire flow for a portion of the community that's at a higher elevation. There's about 30 homes that are at a higher elevation that need that fire flow. It also functions as an emergency water source for that neighborhood should that be needed. The pressure reducing station and the development, these portions of the development have been completed. They've been presented to the board tonight under consent, which you've approved, so thank you for that. I did want to show a graphic for you on your screens just to give you an orientation of where this is. And you can see there on this graphic, the district at the bottom of the page. You got 78, and if you follow Las Posas Road all the way north to the end, That's where that pressure reducing station is located. You can also see that this is at the boundary of our service area between the Vallecitos and Vista Irrigation, and that's located in Division 1. I want to give you another graphic. This is on page 91 of your board packet. This just shows you the facilities that were built by the developer for this community. You can see the pressure reducing station there at the end of Las Posas Road, like I mentioned, and it does supply fire flow, like I mentioned, for the community up there on Woodhaven Road. And that's that area that's at a higher elevation. And I drew in for you, just so you can see graphically, that pink line is the supply line from Vista Irrigation District. And I've got another graphic for you. This is on page 91 of your board, or 99 of your board packet, but you can see again, that is the pressure reducing station. The pink line is the supply line from Vista that has the metering, the meter, and then the blue line is our line. We have the control valve that controls the flow in the event of a fire flow. So this is a kind of a unique situation where at the edge of the boundaries of the service area, who is supplying the customer? Obviously, we would, they're in our service area. However, we didn't have the hydraulic grade line to actually provide fire flow for that section of the neighborhood. So we had to come up with some unique solutions. And this pressure reducing station and the agreement, which you're to consider tonight, is the result of that. In lieu of that, what we could have done is built a pump station. That's a much larger facility, has a much larger impact. And when we looked at that, the benefits of not building it, of course, a bigger facility, pumps, motors, energy consumption, has a much bigger environmental impact. So the benefit is we didn't have to build that, so we didn't have that impact to the environment. We also had a benefit to the customers, because when customers are living off of a pumping station, they pay for an additional pump charge. So the customers benefit in not having to pay that additional charge. The developer obviously saved money. They didn't have to build this larger facility, so there was a benefit for them. Also benefit to the ratepayers, because even though a developer will build this facility, the ratepayers, through the operation and maintenance of facilities, have to support these facilities, which we didn't have to do. So that's a benefit to the ratepayers as well. Also benefit to the district. We have an emergency supply source now from Vista. So I did the math, and usually we try to do like a win-win. This is like a win to the power of 10, so I'm really excited about that. Also reaching across the boundary lines and working with the sister agency really builds on those relationships for future issues that we may have. So really a great opportunity. So really happy with staff, and Elizabeth and her staff kind of got this project to the finish line along with inspectors and our operations folks. So it's a very collaborative effort to get this agreement in front of you tonight for consideration. So with that, staff would recommend the board approve the joint use facility and water supply agreement between the Vallecitos Water District and Vista Irrigation District, and we can answer any questions you have.
And President Hernandez, if I may, I think Jason's being a little modest. I think staff did a really good job on this between Jason and Elizabeth and the team. The easiest thing for us to have done is just to tell the developer either no, because we can't give you fire flow, or go build a big expensive tank that we would end up owning. We wouldn't pay for the construction. But they went that extra effort to talk with the developer, to talk with Vista Irrigation District, and it was a lot of work, but I think it really was a good demonstration of partnership and showing that creativity that staff brings to the table. So that's why I asked them to put it on the action item tonight, so that the board could understand that the extra efforts that went into it, and I appreciate their efforts. So,
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? Yes, Director.
Yeah, I was just wondering, do we have any other of these type of agreement, either with VID or anyone else?
We do not have. This is unique for this community.
It probably
and
wasn't
for the district.
Probably wasn't the preferred alternative, but weighing it against building additional facilities on the part of either us or VID, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we could have detached, that area could have de-annexed, I should say. But that's never a fun thing, and it's also quite a lengthy process. So that would have been an option too. But then Vista would have had to build some additional facilities, so they don't quite have storage in that area. So it's just kind of a tough spot.
Thanks. Very unique. Yes, Director.
First, congratulations. I think that this sounds like a wonderful endeavor, and it shows a partnership with neighboring agencies. And I believe that this will be the way of the future as we confront mounting maintenance costs and scarce resources. So congratulations. I appreciate your work. I appreciate everything that you've done. Who is the developer that was involved in this?
This was KB Homes.
We've worked with them quite a lot. So
Yes.
it's nice that they that they have put forth this good faith effort, and we've been able to work with them on that. Thank you.
And Director Boyd Hodgson, that's a
Yes.
great observation, because all the easy projects are done, right? We're going to be facing more and more challenging projects that are going to require more and more creative solutions from staff, the development community, and other agencies.
Director?
I echo the congratulations. Very good work. A win for everyone is amazing. My one question is, if there was an emergency and the water from Vista ceased to go there, is there a plan in place to make the residents aware and surrounding, similar to how we would, I presume?
Yeah, so the station is controlled through SCADA, so we can monitor that, and we can control it remotely from our station here. So the station provides emergency fire flow. So in a fire event, we would trigger activation of the station to provide
Yep.
fire support for that
I guess what I'm
neighborhood.
asking is if there's an emergency for precluding an emergency. So,
The good thing is we have good communication with Vista, so our operators, thanks to the relations that Ed has built between our operators and their operators, they talk quite often, so I would hope that they would let us know if there was an issue in supply. So we kind of have to go on that.
got it. Just hoping it's thought through, because there's been a lot of cascading emergencies lately, so.
Well, we have service in that area through our own facilities, so hopefully, it hopefully wouldn't be a cascading event where we don't have supply and they don't have supply.
Yep, got it.
Let's
So
let's
it's
hope.
redundant.
Yes,
Yep.
this is a bit
Perfect.
this is a bit of a redundancy
Solves
and
everything. Thank you.
reliability. Yeah.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion to approve the joint use facility and water supply agreement between the district and VID.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, please vote. And the vote was unanimous on plus. Item 2.3, water supply conditions update. Oh boy, this is going to be exciting.
Yeah, Chris is going to take that one, and good news.
Well, quite frankly, a little afraid. I was here maybe 2 years ago or
Year ago.
2 Novembers ago and was telling this great story, and then it really didn't come to fruition. And gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to do that one.
You need a green screen. Dance in front of the green screen.
Better. Thank you, James. So water supply update for January 18th, 2023. The Vallecitos is currently in a level 2 drought alert. And just for the new director's clarification, we're currently in a mandatory drought alert level 2, which means customers can only irrigate 2 days per week through the end of May. So if you get queries on that, that's the answer for them. In December of 2022, the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California declared a regional drought emergency for all of Southern California and called on all water agencies to reduce their use of imported supplies. So that was a little scary back in December. I believe Metropolitan met today with their member agencies, and we'll have additional information tomorrow on what they talked about. But really, the date we're really going to be looking at is April, and what's going on with all of the situations in April. Department of Water Resources went and did their first manual snow survey on January 3rd, a couple weeks back, 2023. They're here at Phillips Station, which is west of Lake Tahoe. And that looks like the best job ever, just going up and trudging up into the Sierras and measuring snow. I am envious of that.
That picture looks a lot better than it did last year.
Right?
Yeah.
So 55 inches they found at this specific location up in the northern Sierras. So good news from that. And this is January 3rd, so that was when they did that manual survey. I'm going to show you some images from DWR's website. This is basically the report that I gave you in your packet is from a week ago. And you can see what are the interesting lines for you to look at is the blue line, kind of a royal blue, is kind of that current value moving up. This is a week ago. And then just for clarification, you can see that red line that's just kind of above it. That was last year. And you can see that like on January 1st last year, we were in good shape. But then that red line flatlines like a dead body. And that was the difficulty that we had last year. I'm going to slide on to the Northern Sierra 8th station this week. So this is 1 week later, and it popped up quite a bit. So that was that good rainstorm that we got. And it's always nice to talk about the snow and the rain, but at the same time, there's downsides to that. I know there's somebody somewhere that went off the road because of the snow on the highway, and there's people that have had to deal with the flooding, and there's been some fatalities. So in spite of the good water news, there is difficulty in getting this much precipitation. This is the snow water content from last week. So this is what I was prepared to talk to you about, but the statewide percentage of snow water content was 199% of average for the date. And then I'm going to pop it to what it was yesterday, and it moves up to 251%. So again, good news for our snow water content. Reservoir storage, Oroville is kind of the big one we like to talk about. A week ago, it was 44%. Everybody can see Oroville, kind of the one that's kind of centered above the top of California there. 44%. Well, a week later it goes by and it's at 58%. So that's just a massive improvement over a 1 week period. It shows how much rain we were getting. And San Luis River Reservoir also popped up too. And I think Shasta went up like 20 feet. So some really good numbers for us in these images. The additional good news was Colorado River status is starting to improve. Lake Mead and Lake Powell are still showing kind of about the same values they have, but there is that snowpack that's occurring in the upper basin up there, and that's really good news for us as well. I believe the same day the Sierra survey went up to, in the Sierras, it was 102% of snowpack in the upper Colorado River Basin, and then it went up to 142%. So, that's a nice big jump in the Colorado River Basin. So good news on that front too. Meanwhile, while all this improvement looks good, we did have that situation last year where we had, January, February, March, where we really got nothing, and it was the driest on record. So, cross your fingers and let's all do a little rain dance to keep this rain coming. But things are improving. The Water Authority notes that we have good supplies, and that in spite of these good rains and this good snowpack, we still want to use water wisely. So we'll be waiting for Metropolitan's announcements at the beginning of April. And then I do have some of the local figures, the 3-month temperature outlook for our area, above normal favored, and then precipitation below normal favored. So that's the update. General Manager, did you have anything you wanted to add in?
No, not at this time. As Chris mentioned, we'll be watching closely what Metropolitan Water District does, because if they declare a water supply allocation, then that means the County Water Authority will get less water from them, which means we'll get less water from the County Water Authority. So there's a cascading effect that comes down. So We're hopeful that these recent storms will mitigate the actions that Metropolitan takes, but I'm pretty confident they're gonna do something. Because you can't solve a 2-decade-long drought with, a month of good rain.
Yeah, just wanted to add on to that.
Yes.
Metropolitan has told the Water Authority that they need a state water project allocation to go to 70% before that'll eliminate their drought allocation plans. So that's a tall order, so we'll see if we can get there, but it's not to throw a wet blanket on things,
Yeah.
but, so to speak.
So to
But,
speak.
yeah, that's, I mean, going from 0 or 5% allocation to 70% in one season is gonna be tough.
Very good. Any other questions? Yes.
Maybe we can talk about this in the P3 committee meeting, but, I think if you're a layperson that's, that sees that it's raining, you might think, oh, wow, okay, we've got a lot of water. We're out of a drought. What are we doing as an agency, from a PR perspective and a marketing perspective, to make sure that we're communicating appropriately that, in fact, no, we are not out of the drought situation. This is helpful, but it is not, we haven't broken even yet.
That's a terrific point, Vice President Boyd Hodgson. The last 2 weeks I've been on Fox News where they've asked, because they're asking the same thing. They're saying, hey, we're getting lots of rain. Are we done with drought? And, both times the answer was, no, we're not out of drought. This looks good. And I gave the analogy of it's like watching your football team get a big lead and then next thing you know, it goes away and you're losing the game. So I had some fun with Fox News, and I have the feeling, I've made connections to 2 different reporters there, and as we keep getting rainfall, I seem to be the person they want to talk to, and I'm happy to be the voice for the community to let people know we are not out of the woods yet.
Good, thank you.
Thank you for doing that, Chris. Very good. Item next is call for nominations to the Local Agency Formation Commission.
Yeah, so just a little background. San Diego LAFCO has an opening on their board. They're seeing if anybody's interested in being considered. So they're looking for nominees. That's all this is.
Is anybody interested in putting their name in for a nomination?
Explain LAFCO again.
I'm sorry?
Explain a little bit what LAFCO does again.
So LAFCO stands for the Local Area Formation Commission, and what they do is they look at all agencies and see if they're operating appropriately. They look for things like, can there be better coordination between agencies? Should agencies consolidate? If there's a dispute over who should serve a particular area, LAFCO gets involved. You may be aware that Fallbrook and Rainbow are looking to detach from the County Water Authority and move up into Riverside County Water Service area. LAFCO gets involved in that. It's basically just about provision of governmental services where they get involved. So it could be a whole variety of things. It's not just all water.
And would we benefit as an agency if we had a delegate or a member over there?
Maybe marginally. I don't think it would be. It's certainly not the intent to have to get your agency to have preferential treatment, but they are looking for a diversity in representation.
And how often do they meet?
I don't know their meeting schedule. I think they have monthly board meetings. I don't know how many other commitments. Do they have subcommittees and things like that? I don't know. There's information, I think, in the board packet if a director is interested. And Ann, do you remember, Ann or Anthony, do you remember the deadline?
Off the top of my head, it's in February, I believe.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time, but not much.
And the nomination is a nomination, it is not a confirmation.
Correct, yeah. So we would just basically throw your hat in the ring, and then LAFCO would go through their process based on how many nominees they get from other agencies. I believe we can only nominate one person from our agency, and we'd throw that name in their hat, but the process of pulling a name out of that hat is totally up to LAFCO.
One of the things that is currently a situation with LAFCO and the Mission Resource Conservation District is the discontinuation of the landscape audit services, which I hope that we can talk about in the P3 committee because it directly impacts, I know Alicia works directly with them, and I've just gotten a little bit of a background on it, but that's something that we could potentially talk about. That's more a mission resource, but that's also an issue with LAFCO. And I think Joe McKenzie and Barry Willis, right? And David Drake is the alternate?
I don't know who the current representatives are.
Well, if anyone wants to put their name into the hat, you can talk to the staff, and we'll pass that forward.
Yeah, I don't believe it required a resolution or anything, but I think the president would have to sign any nomination.
All right, that ends the action items. Moving on to reports, General Manager?
Yeah, I just have a few here. Just a little update on South Lake. So
Oh, good.
the city of San Marcos did approve the agreement, so it's been signed by both parties, and Director Sinella was there. I don't believe he was able to participate in the action, but he was there when San Marcos signed the agreement. We're working with city staff to put all the improvements in place. The city had some requirements. Ed and his team, they kind of leveled and filled some areas of low spots on the trail to make it more traversable. The city put up some railing in areas where there are big drop-offs. The city's putting in some gates and fencing and security issues. We're working with the city staff to set up an event. So at some point in time, there'll be some kind of a ribbon cutting type of event, and we'll keep you posted on that. But things are moving forward, and that's good.
Very good. Thank you so much after 15 years.
Yeah. Look forward, not backwards. So 3 more items, and I'll try to be quick. So we're working forward on something called the Helopad or HelloPad. And what this is, it's a firefighting device that, it's basically a large above-ground swimming pool, for lack of a better term, that a firefighting helicopter can drop its snorkel into to grab water and go fight a fire. Right now, they're mostly restricted to large water bodies, but this adds another alternative. So we've identified a site at the Palomar tanks off of, is that Borden? I think it's off of Borden. Yeah. So we're going to work with the San Marcos Fire Department, CAL FIRE, and the county to collaboratively put this device in there. The swimming pool is being donated, but we have to do the site work, put in the pad, put in all the piping and the SCADA to control it. That's our contribution. But it's really, it works out to be about
Financially as well?
yeah, so their contribution is the donation of the device.
Right.
Ours is staff time, and there may be some hard dollars out, but our contribution is 50%, of which our services count towards that. But I think it's another great example of collaboration. There are some working examples. I think, is it Rainbow? Yeah, Rainbow has one of these devices already operating. We haven't even built this one yet, but we're already talking about whether there'll be a second location. And I think it's really good because the fire agencies, they kind of know where the hot spots are, where the trouble spots are for them, and there isn't always easy access to water for the preferred firefighting apparatus. So this will be a great operation. Yes, sir.
Maybe Ed could answer this, but have they ever drawn out of Mara Reservoir?
Not Mar, but they have drawn out of South Lake during the fires,
South Lake.
during the Cocos Fire, during Harmony Grove, and then one other. But when I talked to the CAL FIRE pilot, I asked, well, we've got all these open bodies of water around here, why can't you use those? It actually messes with their pumps. So they get debris, potentially fish clogging up on the screens, all that stuff. So if it's a clean body of water, they can fill much faster and then get to the fire much faster. So you're going to start seeing these going up all throughout the county.
So Mara wouldn't be a candidate for.
Mar still has quite a bit of algae in it. We're working on that, but they know it's there. I've talked to them about it before, but yeah, they're already trying to find another spot. We've got this one moving forward, and they're hoping to find another spot within our district.
Thanks.
Is this a pool of water that's always there for them, or do we fill it as needed?
We fill it. So after it's constructed, our role would be to operate when to fill it at their request. So they
Yes.
would tell us, hey, we have a fire in that area, we'd like you to fill it. We'd go through SCADA. And SCADA stands for the Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition, just basically our ability to remotely monitor and control our remote facilities. So they would tell us when they want it filled, we'd fill it up, and when the fire's done, it would drain and would sit empty the majority of the time.
All right.
So, all right, so number 3, just want to give you an update. We did have a sewer spill. So with these heavy rains, we did have wastewater emanate out of a manhole along Palomar Airport Road, San Marcos Boulevard, kind of near our westerly boundaries. It's actually close to where Director Sinella and I live in that area of town. It was just too much rainfall. It gets into the wastewater collection system, and it wasn't designed to handle those flows. So we did have about 77,000 gallons come out. when wastewater comes out during a storm event, it's highly diluted already. So it's not full-strength wastewater that would come out of your house, right? It's mixed with rainfall runoff. So it doesn't, I'm not trying to lessen the impact of it, but there were 77,000 gallons of highly diluted wastewater that flowed out. We reported it as required, and we received direction as to where to post by the state and the regional agencies. They told us to do some posting in areas where there may be body contact. We stopped, I think the furthest west we went was by Carrillo Elementary School along Melrose there. But I think it was the county took it a step further without telling us, and they posted along Ponto Beach. So they posted warning signs to the public to say, hey, don't go into the beach here because there was a sewer spill upstream. So City of Carlsbad has taken a lot of heat, and they had no involvement in it in the decision making. And I would normally share that with with my counterpart at Carlsbad, but I wasn't informed by the county what they did without our knowledge. So I'm not saying they did the wrong thing. It would have just been nice if they had notified us or directly notified Carlsbad where the beach is. Last thing, you may recall about a week ago, we had a water main break on Rancho Santa Fe Road, a half a mile or so south of San Marcos Boulevard. Been tough to get our hands around this. It's a very difficult undercrossing of a lot of utilities, and the weather hasn't been cooperative. So we're kind of on hold right now. We're waiting. Thankfully, we have some dry weather. The ground will dry up a bit, and we have a contractor on board to help us make the repairs. And we're hopeful that maybe by this weekend we'll have a pretty good handle on it. And we'd like to fully reopen the traffic to all lanes of traffic southbound, which have been open and closed depending on the activities out there. So just want to give you a brief update on that. So that's all I have to report.
Temporary fix on there now?
So it's shut down right now. It's a section of line that we can close down the valves, and it's not continuing to leak, so that's good. Nobody's out of service. Everybody else is still getting their water, so that's fortunate. We're always thankful when the valves that were installed 20, 30 years ago continue to perform as needed. Not always the case. In this case, it was, and we were lucky that we didn't have anybody out of water. If there were people out of water, we probably would have expedited the repairs, which may have meant more evening work and maybe more contract work. But that puts our folks at risk. Working out there in bad weather throughout the night is not the ideal situation. No. It's not safe, and it's not effective and productive. So we just decided to pull off and wait for things to stabilize a bit. So that's all I have to report.
Very good. Legal counsel.
Just a brief item. It's your Form 700 timelines. I'm hoping Anthony and everyone has those to you and ready for your review and signature. With coming on the board, you'll need to do an assuming office Form 700 for that. And also I'll work with Glenn to set up an orientation, which we typically do with legal, to just brief you on items that you need to be aware of, conflicts of interest, Brown Act stuff on it. So we'll get that set up. That's all I have.
Very good. San Diego Water Authority.
Yeah, next week, the 26th, is the regular January board meeting. And just wanted to indicate that last week, myself, Director Boyd Hodgson, and General Manager Prum did a tour of the Water Authority's O&M yard in Escondido. Very constrained old site. They're looking for a larger parcel to build a new facility. They're currently on 2.6 acres, I think, and their need is actually 8 acres. So they don't even have enough room for employees to park, literally. So
yeah,
very constrained site, and very difficult to find candidate parcels around the Escondido area. But very informative tour, and we'll see where it goes.
very good. The Encina Wastewater Authority, our next meeting is next week, and we have not had a capital meeting and or a policy meeting in January. Standing committees? Yes.
Yeah. Legal and legislative met, and the time is, I think the second year extension on legal services has come up, and so we put out, we're in need of renewing legal services, and so we received, I think, 5 proposals. Staff narrowed it down to 3, so we're going to need to, as a board, interview 3 legal service providers. And that's going to take, I'm guessing, about 4 hours. So we need to decide on a time and a date and interview three firms to see if who's going to provide our legal services in the future.
Very good. You'll identify when?
Yeah, I'll add on to that a little bit. So we will notify the unsuccessful submittals and the 3 that were moving forward, and then we'll work with the board to set up times. And what we'd like to do is grab a half a day. So get it all done in one day instead of 3 one-hour sessions. So,
Right.
we'll be reaching out soon to
Okay.
set that up.
Directors' reports on meetings and conferences? I don't think we've had any. Other business, directors' comments and future agenda items.
Just a welcome to Eric.
Yes,
Thank
welcome.
you. You made a great presentation, and, I mean, we had some great candidates, again, we really did, that was difficult. But congratulations, it'll be good work, I'll be looking forward to working with you.
Is this on? Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for the warm welcome. It's an honor to be amongst you all, and looking forward so much to working with you all and making a big impact for the community and all of the team here, making the best possible outcome for everyone. I love the mantra of win for everyone earlier.
Very good. Just a note here, did we put into policy that future agenda items had to be approved by more than one board member?
I believe we did. Yeah, so if any director wants to add something to a future agenda, this would be the time on the agenda, and it does require at least one other director to say, yeah, I support that.
Very
It's not
good.
an official vote, they just need a second, and it's on a future agenda.
And just a point. All right. Any comments from the directors? Seeing none, go home.